Mark Tronson from the Australian Missionary News. I have here with me today Rod Benson. Rod Benson is a Baptist minister and the ethicist and public theologian at Tinsley Institute, Morling College for New South Wales Baptist churches, and Rod has often represented Australian Baptists just in major trips overseas. And Rod, I'm going to ask you some very important questions today. First of all, can you give us something about your background?
Well, I was born in Wollongong, here in part of New South Wales, and I lived there until I was 9 years old, and we moved to PNG. I lived there for a while, and then I came back to Australia. My dad went to New Guinea as a lecturer in mechanical engineering.
Oh, right,
and of course we followed him there.
Yeah, yes, of course, yes. Okay. Now, where did you do your tertiary study?
Okay, I came back to Brisbane and went to the Baptist College in Brisbane and almost finished there, and then I came to Sydney to pastor the Blakehurst Baptist Church and finished my studies at Morling College, but I graduated from the Queensland College.
Okay. Now, tell us something about your early pastoral years, because I first actually heard of you because I'm a bit long in the tooth now, but I kept hearing this name, Rod Benson. So tell us about those first years, pastoral years.
Yes, the first 3 years of my pastoral work was in Ipswich, Queensland, and planted a new church called Flinders Baptist Community Church in the suburbs of Ipswich, a new development, lots of new housing and young families, and people asking big questions about life, and it was a great opportunity for me to learn the ropes and to make a contribution to the Christian world and to their investment in their lives. And then after 3 years I moved with my family, my wife Michelle and 3 kids, now they're 3 kids, to Sydney here in New South Wales, where I pastored a very different church in an established suburb called Blakehurst Baptist Church.
Now, that was where I kept hearing things about you, because we kept getting these marvellous written essays from you.
That's right. Some of those would have been sermons and some of those would have been other things.
Yes. Okay, now, tell us about your years now, just at Morling College as a theologian.
Right, well 7 years ago now I came to Morling College, and I'm working there as an ethicist and public theologian, working on behalf of all our churches in New South Wales on social and ethical issues, dealing with the social implications of the gospel as we have it in the Bible, and also working alongside Brian Winslade of the Baptist Union of Australia, and doing some work with other ecumenical organisations as well on behalf of Baptists. Very busy life.
Now, you also went just to Palestine and to Israel. What was that about?
Correct. With a group of heads of Australian churches, I went to Palestine and Israel at the end of 2007 on a fact-finding mission, and to express solidarity with Palestinian Christians in particular, and to look at the troubling situation in the West Bank and East Jerusalem and places like that.
Now, we have a real affinity just with Christians everywhere, especially Christians who are persecuted. And we know that the Christians throughout the Middle East are persecuted.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I get you to write once every 3 or 4 months for Wellbeing Australia's monthly newsletter an article on Christian ethics. So tell me, Rod, why is Christian ethics so important for us today?
Christian ethics is a vitally important issue for Christians to think about and to act on today, because it's quite easy for us to focus more or less only on evangelism. That's very important. If we weren't evangelized, we wouldn't be Christians probably. But we sometimes lose sight of the social implications of the gospel, and it's my responsibility, along with others like me, to say, hey, there is a social implication to the gospel. It's about how we live our lives as good moral citizens in obedience to God and the Scriptures, but also taking our place and advocating on behalf of Christians and Christianity in politics, religion, culture, society in general.
Okay, now, this is a bit of a tricky question. How is the pressurising of Christianity affecting our Australian society in, say, politics, and so everyday life?
That's a very good question. Often evangelical Christians in particular feel squeezed out by the secular world and in fact by other faiths to some degree. But sometimes that's our own fault, of course. It's very important for us to engage in the wider sphere with, yes, sometimes Christians, particularly evangelical Christians, feel squeezed out by the secular world in general or by other faiths or interests to some degree. And of course sometimes that is our own fault because we're so unusual and strange at times, certainly in the eyes of others. But we certainly have a legitimate place and a legitimate voice in the society and at the centre of the society, not just on the edges or on the fringes. And that includes in the political realm. There may be various political persuasions and perspectives, but we certainly need to exercise our Christian moral principles and our Christian vocation in the public sphere, and that includes politics.
Rod Benson, you have inspired me now just for many years. I thank you just for writing our quarterly Bible teaching just on Christian ethics. And this is Mark Tronson signing off for the Australian Missionary News.